My husband's colleague went too far, and what followed was truly shocking. True story, safe version. My name is Emily Johnson, and I live in Austin, Texas, with my husband, Daniel. We have been married for 8 years, and although our journey has had its share of ups and downs, we've always believed in the strength of honesty and trust. Daniel works as a financial analyst in a well-established firm, and he often tells me about his workplace, mostly his colleagues and the dynamics of his team. I never thought much about it until one of his colleagues, Laura, entered our lives in an unexpected way that would test everything I thought I knew about trust and loyalty. I first met Laura during one of Daniel's office gatherings. She was polite, well-dressed, and seemed to carry herself with confidence. She worked on several projects with Daniel, and according to him, she was talented and dedicated. At first, I welcomed her as just another face in the wide circle of acquaintances we encounter in life. Little did I know, she would become the center of a storm I never anticipated. It began with subtle gestures. Laura often texted Daniel after work hours, sometimes late into the evening. At first, it was strictly about projects and deadlines, but over time, the messages became more personal, casual jokes, asking how his day was, or even commenting on family matters she had no part in. Daniel, being friendly by nature, didn't think much of it, but I noticed. I didn't want to sound controlling, so I stayed quiet, though it bothered me more each day. The turning point came during a Friday evening dinner we hosted at our home. Daniel had invited a few colleagues over, including Laura. Everything seemed fine until I caught her watching Daniel more than she needed to, laughing a little too eagerly at his jokes, and even casually brushing her hand on his arm as they spoke. My instinct screamed that something was off. After everyone left, I confronted Daniel. He assured me I had nothing to worry about, that Laura was just friendly. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew this wasn't ordinary friendliness. Weeks later, Daniel had to attend a work retreat at a nearby resort. He mentioned that Laura was also part of the team going. I trusted him enough not to make a fuss, but I couldn't ignore the unease. During the retreat, I noticed he was less responsive to my texts and seemed distracted whenever I called. When he returned, something in his demeanor felt different, guilty, perhaps, or just preoccupied. The truth revealed itself in an unexpected way. One evening, while Daniel was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at it and saw a message from Laura. It wasn't romantic, but the tone carried an intimacy that crossed professional boundaries. I really appreciated last night's conversation. You always know how to make me feel better. My heart sank. It wasn't physical betrayal, but it was emotional closeness that belonged to me, not her. I didn't explode with anger. Instead, I calmly confronted Daniel after he came out of the shower. He was shocked that I saw the message and insisted nothing inappropriate had happened. He admitted Laura had been confiding in him about her personal struggles and that he felt sorry for her. While I admired his empathy, I told him clearly, boundaries were necessary, and he had crossed them. The next morning, I decided to handle this not with fury but with strength. I asked Daniel to invite Laura over for coffee. He hesitated but agreed. When Laura arrived, I welcomed her warmly but wasted no time addressing the issue. I looked her in the eye and said, "Laura, I respect the friendship you and Daniel have, but I feel the closeness has crossed lines that make me uncomfortable as his wife." For a moment, silence filled the room. Laura's face turned pale, and she stammered, insisting she never intended to disrespect our marriage. I believed she might not have realized how her actions affected us, but the point had to be made. I told her that while I wished her well, she needed to understand that Daniel's first loyalty was to me and our marriage. Daniel, to his credit, supported me fully. He apologized for not noticing the gradual boundary crossing and assured me it would never happen again. From that day forward, he kept his relationship with Laura strictly professional. She, too, seemed to respect the change, keeping conversations limited to work and avoiding unnecessary personal contact. The experience was shocking, not because of betrayal in the physical sense, but because it showed how easy it is for small cracks to form in a relationship when boundaries aren't clear. It reminded me that trust is not just about grand gestures but also about respecting the invisible lines that protect a marriage. Over time, Daniel and I grew stronger from this ordeal. We began spending more quality time together, communicating more openly, and never letting small discomforts grow into large problems. I learned that silence can be dangerous in relationships, and speaking up firmly but respectfully can save love before it's too late.